Hey everybody, Brett Legassi here for SportTalk.com, and today we're going to discuss the edge rushers. And obviously, you got to start with the boy can't wait. Yeah, that's why I wore the jersey. Should have been the comeback player of the year last year, by the way, but they give it to everybody else, but they give it to Tom Brady being suspended for 4 games. Not the guy that tore his Achilles at 35 years old comes back to play. No. Oh, that guy doesn't count. Also plays a grittier position. Yeah, it's a quarterback league. What are you going to do? Anyway, so it's been a couple weeks. Sorry about that. My apologies. I'm back on it. Got a little busy with school. Hurt my knee, so been a little busy with work and dealing with doctors for the knee injury. Everybody knows how fun that is. So, first, let's talk about the edge rushers. Now, I say edge rushers, and I mean pass rushers on the end. Some of you know that, some of them may not. I don't do defensive line together all the time, but especially in a 4-3, I like to do edge rushers separate from defensive line interior because I can shorten the videos 1 and 2. I can specify a little bit better with those guys. So first, let's talk about Cam Wake. Now, he's the oldest player probably on the team. He's the oldest player. He's still the veteran leader, and he's still an explosive player, both on the field and on the sideline. I know he gets the players pumped. He's the vocal leader. I know in the locker room, the weight room, he's always pushing the players, always leading them, always getting pumped. And every time he makes a sack, man, I get pumped on my couch. It's probably how I hurt my knee. But so Cam Wake's the obvious. So then let's look at his opposite endmate, his bookend, Andre Branch, who I think did a fantastic job last year. Sure, he wasn't quite the same as Olivier Vernon. However, I think Andre Branch did pretty well. He had 5.5 sacks, which is pretty good. And obviously, he played well enough for the coaches and the front office to give him a contract extension, which is pretty nice that they locked him up. He's still a young player, 27, I believe, so he's still a player that I think can have a bright future with the Dolphins. 28 this year, excuse me. He's got good size at 6'5", 263. He's pretty good pass rusher. Again, he's not anything. I'm not going to sit there and say he's like the best player or like this phenomenal pass rusher, but he's a good pass rusher. He's a smooth pass rusher. He does his job, and that's all we can ask for. But I think off the stats is something that I saw from him last year that I really liked. He was constantly in the backfield, and when he was starting and Wake were starting, the Dolphins were 9-0. Saw that stat somewhere, so that's actually pretty interesting. That just shows that Miami, when they have the best pass rushers on the field, they can actually close out games and get after the quarterback. So that was definitely an interesting take there. So let's go on to the next veteran that they got, William Hayes. Really like that pickup. Definitely a good value trade. They didn't give up much for him. He's very good against the runs, a solid player. They tried to get him last year in free agency, re-signed with the Rams, and then that ended up being a bad season. So now he's back, or he's with the Dolphins again anyway. So, well, not again. You know what I mean? I can't get out of my own way today. But yeah, he's now with the Dolphins, where he probably should have been last year. Solid against the run, consistent pass rusher, consistent player. All around, he's an improvement. He's going to be a good rotational player at the right end position with Andre Branch. And a guy could even maybe kick inside every now and then. But he's definitely a guy I like to see on the field this year. He's going to help with the run defense, which is a big help. Although Branch and Wake did well against the run, it's just nice to have depth along the D-line that can actually play a good amount of snaps without losing a step. So then let's go on to the first round pick, Charles Harris, who I was excited about. I was really happy about. And why was I happy about Charles Harris? Well, let's go back all the way to Aldon Smith from Missouri. Really kicked off where they started really drafting some athletic freak pass rushers. Aldon Smith was at Missouri. Then it was, we all heard of Michael Sam, but it was Coney Ealy that I was impressed with. And if you look at his Super Bowl stats, he wasn't as good as Von Miller. However, he had a pretty good Super Bowl, and he could have been Super Bowl MVP, and it was just another gifted pass rusher that Missouri had. And then it was Marcus Golden, Shane Ray. So you're having a lot of listed pass rushers, and Charles Harris fell right into that line and fit that mold. And Charles Harris is very similar. I think he's a little bit better than Marcus Golden, similar to Coney Ely in a way. But he's a guy that is explosive. I mean, a Cam Wake clone, in my opinion. He's explosive going forward. He bends well. He has a nasty spin move. I think it's a very underrated part of his game. I don't think if you haven't seen his spin move, look up just some highlights of him at least. But go to draftbreakdown.com. That's where I do a lot of my scouting. Look up Charles Harris and watch some of his games, man. He has a nasty spin move and a nasty initial first step. If he can get strong, get a little bit stronger, and fight off blocks a little bit more consistently, he's going to be a phenomenal player. Now, the question was his ability against the run. His ability against the run, holding the edge, needs work. He struggles to hold the edge, as most guys do coming out of college that are pass rushers. He needs to learn to hold the edge better. Much like a tight end that needs to learn how to block, it's the same thing with the edge rusher. They need to learn how to hold the edge against the run. It's the same thing. So he does need to get better at setting the edge. However, when I watch him against Arkansas, and go on draftbreakdown.com, you can see him against Arkansas 2016. He actually crashed inside constantly. And now Arkansas runs an old school power man offense. They're going to I formation the hell out of you. They're going to maul you in the middle. And he was even lined up as the 5-tech and 3-tech on some of the plays. And he was actually crashing inside. There's quite a few plays that he was the reason the run stopped for no gain, crashing down the line of scrimmage. He actually, because of his explosive ability to crash, he could actually stop the run pretty well going inside. He just needs to work on not allowing it to get across his face. He needs to learn how to shed the block, get 3 yards deep, and scrape left and right, and find the football and make the play. Keep it from crossing his face. Hold it to no gain and minimum gain. Once he can do that, he's got Cam Wake and Jason Taylor to teach him that, and DeMarcus Ware as well. 3 undersized guys, well, 3 slighter frame guys that have actually done well against offensive linemen getting off blocks and playing a run. So it's just be patient with him. I think he's going to be a phenomenal situational pass rusher at first, and I think in time he'll get better against a run. But I'm really excited about Charles Harris. I think he brings the energy to this defense along with Wake, and we know Wake can't play forever. I wish we could. I wish he could. Another fantastic pass rusher that we can't have forever like Jason Taylor. But those 4 right off the bat gives us a good rotation, good depth. William Hayes, Charles Harris, Andre Branch, and Cam Wake. 4 studs. Should be a little bit better, should be more consistent pass rush, even at the end of games when they're gassed. I always got tired of seeing Cam Wake and Ndamukong Suh just panting for breath at the end of a game and just the team driving down for the game-winning drive. So this year should be a little different. Terrence Fede, he had a couple plays here and there. He's had a couple good sacks, a fumble recovery, a forced fumble here. I mean, it hasn't had much of a career. If you remember the meme of Darren Rizzi, well, what are you doing? That was his fault. That was that Thursday night game against Cincinnati when he wrecked the punter. I think it was against Cincinnati. That's when he wrecked the punter and Darren Rizzi almost lost his mind, and it was a stupid play. I mean, the ball was already in the receiver's hands at that point. He had to push the punter. What an idiot. But we all make stupid mistakes. We've all done them. But he's on the roster bubble. He's got good size at 6'5", 280. He went to Marist, and the reason he went to a smaller school is he had a little bit of off-the-field issues. And that's why he was the first player drafted out of Marist. And he's got some potential. I think he's even blocked the extra point or field goal. I can't remember. But anyways, he's a good size, a guy that actually could fit if he can get his head together and listen to his coaches. But he's got some tough competition. If you remember last year, Julius Wormsley made the team and actually was a starting D tackle, or not starting D tackle. I think he got some rotational time at D tackle. but he's also a defensive end. He's versatile to play both. He had a pretty good preseason, and I think with another good training camp and a good preseason, I think he can make the team because of his versatility to play inside and outside. So keep an eye on Julius Wormsley. But my favorite undrafted free agent for the Dolphins right now is Praise Martin-Aguike. I hope I said that right, but he's from Temple. Little undersized at 6'1", 255, but here's what I like. Here is what I like. He can stand up a linebacker. He can play with his hand in the dirt. He can move around. He could be kind of like that Vic Beasley kind of guy in his defense. He could be the guy that you don't know where he's going to be. Maybe eventually ultimately play linebacker and be able to be a guy that can blitz. But I really feel like he's a guy that, even though he's undersized, he's explosive. He's tough. He's fast. So he can be a guy that can definitely be hard to game plan for, hard to scheme against, because you don't know where he's going to be lined up. You don't know what he's going to be doing. Is he going to drop in coverage? Is he going to blitz? What is he going to do? Is he going to spy the quarterback? They don't know what he's going to do. So he has that kind of ability where I think he'll make the team. Definitely the final 53. I almost guarantee that if he shows his ability. I watched him a little bit. I thought he was pretty good. A little overshadowed by his teammate. However, I think he has some potential to build on. And is a guy that I think, again, because Adam Gase doesn't care where you were drafted, what school you come from. He doesn't care. You can be undrafted out of a small school, Division III, and if you can play, you can play. That's it. That's all that matters to Adam Gase. You can be a first-round pick out of Missouri for Charles Harris, and if you don't play, you don't play. I mean, if you don't show up, you're not playing. That's the way it should be anyway. But it seems like they want guys that they can interchange. Matt Burke seems like he likes to get a little creative, get a little aggressive. So I really think that Praise Martin-Aguike can kind of fit that, move around. Another guy to look for, to keep an eye on, is Arthur Miley. He's 6'6", 270. Could be a depth. He needs to be developed. When you watch him on tape, he didn't do much in college. I don't know if it's lazy or thinking too much or lack of talent, but he has good size. It looked like he has some decent flashes here and there in college, so he could be something. Definitely a guy to keep an eye on, because I think that you can never have enough pass rushers, especially with Tom Brady in the division. Tyrod Taylor, I know he's not a great quarterback, but he's fast and he can give us fits. So if we get some defensive line and linebackers that can actually hold those guys in place, that could be a big difference. So, but overall, I think the defensive line is better this year. I like the fact that they have Charles Harris to go with Wake, really give Wake a break. So you have another player who's identical to Wake as far as being explosive and fast. Andre Branch and William Hayes should rotate nicely, interchange nicely. They both complement each other well. Basically, when one's getting a breather, you're not going to miss a beat. They both play the run pretty well. They both seem to be leaders. Andre Branch is really embracing the leadership role. So, I mean, it's fantastic to see that. And then you got some guys to look out for. Praise Martin-Aguike, Julius Wormsley, and Arthur Miley, and guys to keep an eye on. I think that could possibly make the team. But mainly keep an eye on Praise Martin-Aguike from Temple. Just if you want to look him up again, check him out, see what you think. He showed flashes, and I think he's a low risk potential, honestly. I mean, the guy has undersized, but he has the athletic ability and speed to make something happen. So, hey, he's undrafted. I mean, it's a low cost, low risk, big reward kind of guy. So I think the defense or the edge rushers are the key to success going forward, especially this defense. The secondary is young. They're going to need the pass rush to step up for more interceptions. The secondary, like I said, is coming up, but it's all going to be dependent on these edge rushers. So I think next I'm not going to do offense. I'm going to do interior defensive line. Unless you guys think otherwise, I can do wide receiver. You let me know. I'll put a poll up. The most answers by the end of the week. I think I'll do Friday. The most answers by Friday. I'll do the video on. Look out for it next Monday. That's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching.